Esselamu Aleyküm ve Rahmetullah. Euzubillahimineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi yessir ve la tuassir. Rabbi temmim bil hayr. Rabbena heblena min ezvacina ve zürriyatina kurrete a'yunin ve cealna lil muttaqine imama. Allahümme iftah aleyna hikmetek ve enşur aleyna rahmetek ya zel celali vel ikram. Allahümme allimna ma yenfa'una ve enfa'na bima allamtana ve zidna ilma ve erinel hakka hakka ve erzukna ittiba'ahu ve erinel batile batile ve erzukna ictinabih. Ve sallillahumma ala Muhammedin ve ala alihi ve ashabihi ve etba'ihi ve sellem velhamdülillahi rabbil alemin. Does, Aleykümselam, would anyone like to summarize the outline of what we have talked about last week? Some people were taking notes and they may use the notes. You can try?
Yeah.
Okay, you can contribute. Adija, I felt that you are getting ready for it. Yeah.
Or no, I can do it later. Someone else wants to go first.
As in completing whatever is missing. Okay, try to follow.
Okay, so last week worked on the first verse. Have you considered the one who denies the religion? But we emphasized, or we delved deeper into the word religion or deen. And the essence of the class, it was about debt, like owing something, having to return something to one's own, or paying off a debt. In the concept of, or in relation to the concept of deen. I mean, in essence, that was the main idea, and then there was a lot of other things circulating around that. Awesome. Take it away.
I guess if I can only add two things to it, one would be we try to understand what denying that could mean for a person.
Deny.
Yeah, and we also said that we made a lot of jumps in this understanding, which was my particular struggle with it as well.
So jump, did you say?
Jumps, like whatever understanding we concluded with.
Sure. There is, okay. Yeah.
Whatever understanding we concluded with requires you to kind of have a particular understanding first. Like, I wouldn't say it's level 1 of understanding this verse. It's a deeper, like, the conclusion that we had of it is not scratching the surface. Like, that's diving into a later stage of it, if you will.
About denying?
About denying the religion, like both those two things side by side.
Religion, we said, yes, one of the meaning of deen in practical terms is religion, but mainly religion. If you question what religion is, what would your answer will be? What religion is?
See, I think when in the discussion last time, when we said that in a way it's kind of what you owe or the debt that you have, or that you're in, like it. Yes, I agree, but there's so much more to coming to that conclusion within the word itself, and I don't think that you need, again, to know the meaning or the roots of it.
The of the word.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
not necessarily, but it gives a helps.
Yeah.
It gives a clue.
Yeah. Like I, for one, was struggling with, of course, how I've previously understood the word religion to mean for me, outside of like kind of redefining it in the last class. And I was still able to come to a similar conclusion that this word could, lead to meaning that, I'm in debt, or like there's something that I owe. But for me, that required a lot of logical reasoning, reflection to come to that conclusion, not just saying like this word equals to this.
So we need to emphasize on it, work on it more.
I'm satisfied.
Yeah. So by following religion, I think we have to question the meaning attached or assigned to religion in the common sense. The people say, we have to follow a religion and everybody has a religion. Of course, not the main pillars of belief that religion offers to us. You have to believe in God, you have to believe in the angels and the prophets, the revelation. We are not going to talk why do we have to believe it. Now, this chapter is more related to not really the religion as we understand, because it's a too early period of the prophetic time and there was no such concept religion at times. But they might have used the word that, those people do something different from us. Now, for example, what was the religion of the first community that the prophet had addressed to? It means the people in Mecca, Quraysh. So
They were pagans, right?
Sorry?
They worshipped statues.
I've never seen any record saying that they were worshiping statues.
Oh, idols?
What does idol mean? Is it a religion? Was it a religion for them? So was it a religion for them? Or just tradition, how it appears to be? Right. She's here. We were expecting him to be in Malaysia. So, alaikum salam, you are still here. Eh? So, you are not going yet, but you will. Is it right? Or did you decide to stay here? Inshallah. Okay. So, for example, be free. Be free. Do you have the concept of religion? Do you just reject it totally? Which one? For example, speak somebody said, yeah, I have a concept of religion. Mostly, I think you have. So,
I have a concept.
Yeah, what else? You don't have any concept of religion in your life? So be brave, say yes or no. Yes or no, say it. Sorry, yes, you follow religion. So, why do you follow religion? When you say, but I'm not saying what is your philosophy of religion. No. Being a very simple layman, right? When you say, I follow a religion, then especially most of the people that are here may say that I follow the religion of Islam. Why? What do you mean by following a religion? That was the root or the main concern of last week's discussion. Actually, we need to establish that one. What do we mean by religion, and what are we expecting from it? Okay, you said you were going to say something. So, sorry, I am saying you, but I don't know the names. That's why I'm not being rude. Sorry?
Based on a previous discussion that we had, you mentioned how to worship something is to seek security from something
Security in,
life.
okay, in your mind. Yeah, to feel secure in your mind. Okay? So that's what you are expecting. For example, talking about a certain religion that anyone say that I follow religion, which kind of security you found in the religion you followed? No question which religion is it. No. No. Which kind of, for example, one example of security when you follow the religion. Yeah, you got the community. Oh, that's very selfish. I'm not being accusing you. You know, just you have a community. Okay, you can go and have a community in another setting. It doesn't have to be religious or religious community. Okay, yeah. So that's why it's a very blunt question, you know, bold question. That's why you pray, because community prays. What is the difference? Why do you pray then? If it is nothing to do with the community, why do you pray? Or you don't have to give an answer, but these are very, very primary questions follows up. When you say, I follow a religion, why do you follow a religion? What are you expecting from religion? I think this person is bursting to say something, so let's give him an opportunity. Okay.
I guess I'm struggling. I don't want this to be about like semantics and of like what the word follow here means, but for me, it could mean two completely different things.
Yeah.
If I say I follow my instincts, it's not like I'm just blindly looking at what's happening and just following it. Like following my instinct is another way of saying like I'm reflecting, I'm like reasoning, and like whatever my conclusion is, I'm implementing it. So to follow something and to follow religion here to me means more like having a worldview and implementing it means following my religion. In the other context, following religion could mean no question, like no need to reflect on it, no need to question what it is, and just imitate. And I think there's a huge difference between which kind of follow we talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say following a certain cultural setting which identifies itself as a religion, a tradition, in a religious tradition. Yeah, that is put aside because I don't think majority of the people here want to learn this aspect of religion. Yeah, just because it is our culture. So I found myself in this community. So I feel comfortable when I really associate myself with this community. So let's follow the values of the community set up in front of me. Let's put aside because it doesn't really seem to be a right way of dealing with religion. So as coming to the answer to your expectations, your definition of religion, the first or second definition of religion, not the first, the second definition of religion, which you find some sort of, I'll come to you, you find yourself satisfied with the second part. I don't think we are expected to follow a way of life or a way of understanding one's existence and making sense of it by following a society that you find yourself in and their values. Now, that is not the source of satisfaction, but just being lazy, finding yourself a comfort zone and, okay, following. So it doesn't really satisfy any of your expectations. Maybe you can I mean, I wouldn't say cheating yourself, but somehow you feel comfortable about, or what this religion tells you that if you do this and this, you will be saved. Okay, then why not? I will do that because it is promised in my religion that it is fulfilled, or I will be rewarded with my effort. But is it really true? We are not questioning that.
Right.
No, no one, not the community people don't question that. We don't concern them. But this should not be our case. But especially finding out not a secure comfort zone in the community, but getting some answers to your human expectations within yourself, within your own self. So that, oh yeah, or even I wasn't in this community, or if you say that, if you think that you find a satisfactory answer in another tradition, can you switch to this tradition? What a difference from your own community tradition. Can you? Can you just switch it to that tradition? We love people to convert to Islam, but we don't. We just turn blind to those people who find satisfaction in a way, in another tradition, in another way of, for example, thinking, philosophy. So there are many people who don't follow Islamic tradition, if majority of follow Islamic tradition. But do they find any satisfaction there? Depends. Which kind of questions they ask, satisfactory answers they get, but it's up to them. But have we ourselves taken into consideration that, look, I must also question, how satisfactory the way I'm following. So I think we are going into the world of religion. If we take religion, the word ad-din, with a meaning religion, as the translation says. But as we studied that, yes, it may mean religion, but depends on what we mean by religion. Okay, let me go to this, shall we? So
I didn't have any question. I just wanted to contribute on the point like religion gives you the security or what religion means. So, completely, in my opinion, I think religion as it gives you a faith in a superpower, especially like in good times, people are happy, it's perfectly fine. When bad times comes and when things start falling out of the place, when no human, no technology or nothing can help you, there's only one thing that keeps you going is religion, because you have a faith in a superpower that is going to help to the next step. There's a light after the dark.
I understand. No, so religion is good for a person who is desperate and going to die. Now, after I die, what shall I do with the religion? Which kind of religion?
Okay, life is full of ups and downs. It's like you're practicing it because, especially you need them in your lows of your life.
Okay. Now, I understand you are new in this class. Am I right? New in this class, yeah. So, one condition for this class is not necessarily to get into the class. No. To think freely without bringing the previous culture into the class. Must be your own conclusion without imitating the previous culture. Just start from scratch, from the beginning, and ask the question. If, for example, I am sure you will say my expected answer from you, if you are happy with your life conditions, do you think we don't need religion to connect ourselves to a superpower? Okay, think about it. Yeah, think about it. Religion means, I'll come to you. Religion should mean that it gives anything which gives security to my human side in any case. maybe death, maybe a desperate situation, or maybe an extremely happy life. Or, for example, if everything goes smoothly, do we not need superpower to attach ourselves to it? How? Then we have to think about it and get a, how do you say, more fundamental level to understand what it is, what religion should be for me, not for the general public. Just we sometimes refer to the general public, not to blame them, but to make the distinction. Are we going to follow the flow, or are we going to make up our own results for our own conclusions, so that I will be satisfied with it personally? Because if you go somewhere where the people speak your language, people are used to the same way of speaking, dealing with each other, maybe eating together, etc., you feel comfortable. Can religion be reduced to this comfort zone? That is my very essential question. Okay.
This is just something that we had mentioned last week, wanting to talk about this week, and maybe it'll help this current conversation, the distinction between religion and belief, and how, the difference between them. Maybe it'll open.
Yeah. So, taking into consideration that at least historically we know that when this chapter was revealed, the immediate people to the prophet, when he declared this, did not have religion. That's the history says. But their purpose in living in this world is to gain fame, that after they die, they would be remembered, veneered, so that his tribe will be famous, or will be on the upper case or upper hand. So this price is better than the others. All the idol and this kind of things are not necessarily that they should have a statue and worship it, but this statue symbolizes something. For example, can I tell you something? So you said these idols, which is a very, very common to me. I'm sorry, I'm not saying you are diseased, but this is a disease. Now, we have to be frank. Yeah? So that's my idea. You can defend. So you may have a profession and your insurance. You may feel comfortable about it. You may be proud of your badge, which says, I am an employee in that very strong, rich company. So I am secure. So this badge is a statue for you. Have you ever thought about it? Worshipping it. Not for you personally, excuse me, for the person. No. Worshipping it. For example, if you get our typical fruit example is what? Banana or what? Or maybe mango. It's lovely. So if I say this banana, this mango really gives me satisfaction, that's a statue for you. So what is worshipping? Worshipping this statue means no one says that statue created the world. They know that they made it with their own hand. It is obvious. Why do they still esteem it? Why? So it symbolizes something else. Yeah, for example, if a person follows those people who are familiar with Hinduism, which I'm not, but in general, they say that this is something God, this is something God, this is representing different aspects of God, but they have lots of goddesses, quite many. So But definitely they will say, oh, this goddess, let's say that the goddess of beauty or goddess of, let's say, mercy. Yeah? Okay. Do they say that this statue is the source of existence of mercy or represents the mercy, reminds me the mercy? Yeah, okay. So if you say, no, you cannot do it, you say, are you denying the symbols? Why do you turn to Kaaba then? No, I don't worship Kaaba. It is just stone. Yeah, they said, do you think I'm stupid? I'm worshiping this one. I'm worshiping what this one represents for me, reminds me. So it turns it into, is it legitimate? Oh, that is something else. We are not talking whether it is a legitimate way of dealing with our lives, or it is just how the people have this idea of symbolizing something which they need. Go back to which they need during good times and hard times, right? So it represents the source of their expectations. So what is important in religion, the fundamental teaching of the Quran is, the language of the Quran is ahad, yeah, wahid, samad. This kind of vocabulary is used, which means the unique one, the only one, the one which is present everywhere, every time. But from all this, the Quranic expression is can be summarized as the one who is absolute in any terms. So if someone is not aware of this absoluteness of the, maybe use the authority or the super power that we can associate ourselves with, well, maybe it is, if someone doesn't realize that this, which is the source of existence of every quality in the universe, must of necessity be absolute, then definitely this understanding should lead, inevitably leads the person to symbolize that with something else. That's why when you speak to a person, culturally or otherwise, doesn't matter, consciously or unconsciously, do you worship Kaaba? He says, why should I worship Kaaba? God is beyond everything. But he may not articulate it, saying that, well, Kaaba cannot represent the absolute one, but it is a symbol of the chain of prophethood, which always reminded people with this idea that God cannot be represented with anything. By definition, the creator, the superpower, by definition, has to be absolute. So how can I symbolize absolute? Yeah. For example, in Greek tradition, Zeus is the beauty, isn't it? Yeah. Zeus, or the beauty is what? So they have a beautiful study to symbolize it in Greek philosophy. Whatever it is, I don't know, maybe something else, I don't care. So if someone is, if somebody thinks that God is generous, I know very ancient statue, I've seen it. So it means it is represented by a statue which is in the shape of an old man with a lots of grapes, fruits in his hand. That is the statue. You know, it is representing the image that people have, that generosity symbolizes generosity. But if someone, which is very important for us, does not question and concludes that the creator, or the source of existence of this universe, I wouldn't say superpower at all. Yeah, the superpower in the world now is America or China. It's going to be so. It is misused, or how do you say, overused for everything. Superpower. So we should avoid this one. It is not superpower. It is the only power. But how are we going to get to this conclusion? Now, I think we should shift the discussion from the way, as we discussed last week, into a new path that I am intending to go into now. Is there any question that I missed? Somebody raised his hand and his or her hand, and I didn't give that person a chance to speak. So here you go. So we are going to go into another dimension of the same verse.
I just wanted to, like, when you said, like, we were talking about idols, like, when somebody's very proud of whatever they do, or like proud of like a job or status or something like that. I mean, wanting something or appreciating something that God has given you, that's very different from like saying that that's your God.
No.
Like, let's say if I have a very high status, X, Y, Z.
No, no one says. Yeah. Even the so-called idol worshippers, so Indians, etc., that this is God, but they don't know the concept of God. God means the absolute being, which, but be careful. Now, if you like, you can take notes, this one, because we shouldn't come back again and again. Some people may feel bored of it. Which means something that is able to give existence to something else. Now, if you really think about it deeply, you will understand that if something was not absolute, would never be able to give existence even to a single atom, let alone your pleasure, let alone your security, let alone your satisfaction, let alone your satisfying your expectations. One single. That's why, unless we reach to the point that we are absolutely not knowledge, knowing everybody says Allah is God is one, God is one. I don't know. So I must make sure for myself what I mean when I say God, the creator of every single being within the existence that I am experiencing. Every single being. So the satisfaction, maybe the nourishment I get from the mango needs to be given existence. So can mango, it's a very simple question. We have to question, can mango be the source of existence of taste, nourishment, color, beauty, my need for it? Can it be? Now, we are going into the new direction of studying the same verse again. Have you considered the one? It means really, right? Have you seen? It means really taken into consideration, which means, have you ever thought within yourself? Yeah? Have you ever taken consideration into yourself? For yourself? That you deny the religion? Have you thought of it? No. I don't deny the religion as I have inherited from the community. That's not the point. There was no such religion that the Quran could have been mentioning about it, could have been referring to it. So we understand that we have to redefine the word religion within our own time and space conditions, ultimately for our own self. How are we going to consider that, am I denying that thing? But I'm not saying religion, that thing, whatever deen is, Am I denying it? Well, I said, don't say, I don't deny religion. Yeah, because you are following a religion, as I am following a religion. And also, all the requirements of the religion, I try. If I don't, even if I don't, that was my failure. I accept, I ask for forgiveness, follow my way of understanding what truth is, how it is represented to me in a theoretical base. As a result, what are the practical implications of it? That is religion I understand for myself. So if I find it fitting to a certain setting, I said, I'm there. Yeah. If I find any phrase, I'm really being very frank, which is more satisfactory than La ilaha illallah, I will keep it in it. The translation is very bad. The translation we are used to is very horrible. There's no God, but that's nonsense. But there is no source of existence in the universe. So, therefore, there must be a source of existence of everything within the universe all together at the same time. Illallah. That is called God. So if someone finds out more precise, more the finer expression of this reality or any reality other than La ilaha illallah, definitely I am not a Muslim, I will follow it. Why? This is much better. Yeah? Why shouldn't I just switch to a better one? Right? Do you agree with it? You are smiling.
Well, I'm smiling because you used this word earlier as well. This notion of switching to a different tradition or switching to a different religion.
No.
No,
I didn't say that. Understanding which is better. Okay, use this expression and continue.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think when you understand that one thing is better, you don't just drop everything. You just see where the conflict exists, and you.
Of course. I'm not saying. As soon as I heard it, that's it. I'm not a Muslim. I'm I am a follower of this certain tradition or understanding. No. If I'm convinced about it, that is better than La ilaha illallah, which I'm saying it in its original language as it is used in the Quran, because translation takes long. Otherwise, to translate it in a simple and short way, it is nothing but confusing. That's why I don't use it. I avoid it. So you understand what I mean. I explained it, and it is there, and we use this expression almost on every occasion. You must have been familiar with it. So, how am I going to understand, imagine the source of existence as necessarily being an absolute one? How am I going to reach to the absolute while there is no absolute within this universe? What is the way of reaching into absolute so that the relationship between my attitude and my ideology, understanding, my conviction will be established? As a result, I shouldn't deny it in my life. Who denies the religion? It means who denies his own conclusion, not who denies his tradition without following it. But if one says, no, I am sure humanism is the only solution, right? If someone claims it, I would expect him not to contradict humanism, requirements of humanism, because if he is convinced. But if he is not convinced, you may find lots of contradiction in him, or he may find humanism as an alternative to submitting yourself, understanding, confirming, and defining yourself with this alternative, which is absolute creator. How are we going to get into this concept which doesn't exist within the universe? For example, let me use this original Arabic words and then translation of it. If I don't, you help me. God is being Ahad. Ahad in which terms? The only unique. There is no unique. There is no equivalent within the universe. Are we sure? Samad. The only one who doesn't need anything, but gives existence to everything out of nothing. Just says, no, here I am, and it is. I want it to be in this way, it is in this way. That's it, settled. That's Samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. What does it mean? We frequently refer to this chapter of the Quran, which is really very essential. The one who is, by definition, an absolute being. So this absolute being has not given a birth to another absolute being on its own kind, another absolute being. So you cannot say the small absolute, big absolute, secondary absolute, or primary absolute. Absolute is absolute. It means infinite. So we cannot compare it with any other quality. Absolute is absolute. That's it. This is the biggest absolute, largest absolute. Doesn't make sense. Absolute is absolute, right? So it has not given birth, which means it has not created. As far as my experience is concerned within this universe, anything which has inherited absolute quality from its creator. That's why if I say mango is the source of satisfaction for me, mango itself, not as a means, is different, right? But as a means is different, but itself is the source of satisfaction for me. It means whoever gave existence to mango, we can question, can it give existence to itself? We can question, we are human beings. If you say, no, it is there, for example, last month it wasn't here, so it is going through a process, and this process is coming from somewhere else. So it goes back again, saying that no, it cannot give existence to itself, so it is made. And is there, I can say, is there any absolute quality which means will enable mango to be the source of existence of taste, satisfaction, design, beauty, all these qualities? If mango cannot be the source of existence of its qualities, if we reason about it, investigate it, if we don't see any sign that it is really giving existence to something at its own will, then we will say, Lam yalid, means he has not given birth to something. Wrong. Here it is. Mango has another absolute quality to give satisfaction, to create satisfaction. Do you get it? To create satisfaction. So, we say that no. Nothing in the universe has the quality of being absolute, infinite. So you say, yeah, this phrase, which is found in the Quran, makes sense. You cannot challenge it. There's nothing in the universe which has absolute qualities, which will give existence to something else without being in need of Samad. What was Samad? Doesn't need anything. For example, let's say, I don't know, for example, mango needs to be created. Mango needs to be given the source of its qualities, prepared in the way that it is. It has no free will, so it must function in the way that it gives the result that I expect from it. So It is not the source of existence of the way it is going. It is subject to the order of the universe to grow, to start with. No, it is not really. So you cannot find anything. So you can, if someone says, really, mango satisfied me, that is mango is my, in the language of the Quran, idol. In Arabic, sanem. That's my sanem. So every religion which has this symbolized way of expressing their understanding of religion is based on very fundamental mistake that it is representing an absolute being. But as soon as you imagine that absolute being can be represented, it means you are giving a limit to it. A man, a statue with lots of grapes, fruits, all sorts of fruits, and smiling face, and offering to people like this. Come on, have it. So it symbolizes the generosity of the super being, for example, or superpower. But are we sure that this symbolizes anything? Have you ever seen anybody worshiping Kaaba among Muslim tradition? How ignorant he is. No, he says, oh, it is a sacred place. Sacred place. Some people say represents, it is God's house. Represent God, reminds me of God. But you people, intelligent, questioning people, should know that Baytullah does not mean that it represents God, but it represents God's guidance sent through the line of prophets. So when you go there, Muhammad, I'm being impartial in my language, Muhammad, not as a result of disrespect, is the continuation of certain tradition in human race. And this, they call it the chain of prophethood, right? Is not a new thing. It has been always with the people. And this religion represents, or presents the idea of God, which is ahad, which means absolute, no equivalent. So this God will emulate. What does it mean? Oh, do you think it might have inherited any quality from anything else? Now, do you think, for example, I'm going to use the very simple, I don't know anything about mathematics, only this one. I'm very much interested in infinity or infinite. So do you think infinite is infinite because it had gathered all the numbers in it available? No. Infinite means, for example, if you give one naked, yes, because it is the accumulation of the numbers in itself. For example, infinite plus 1 is equal to, again infinite, right? Not a bigger infinite. It gets swollen, becoming richer and richer. That is where Mueller. The absolute doesn't need to get anything from another source in order to become absolute. So you have to say, why? How do we know? Now, we said in order to give existence to something which doesn't exist at all, just as a result of willing it to be. Everything comes into existence as a result of will, not as a result of coming into existence. Look, don't be misled with the process of existence. Again, every process, every step in the process is a new creation. It means coming into existence. So Again, everything needs the absolute being in its existence at every moment. Now, you say, yeah. Did you notice? That was my point. That was my intended point. So, how do we reach the conclusion of absoluteness of the one, whatever it is? Not, don't call it God, don't call it Allah, whatever it is, one gives existence to everything in the universe. How do we reach to this end? How do you conclude, although we have no experience of absolute, it is impossible? How do you come to this conclusion? Somebody must help me. Anyone? Very, very easy question, eh? Everyone. Yes?
I read before
I?
a description that describes the absolute as the light. It's just the light, and
Absolute is light?
that was a description. It's light.
Well, where did you get this description?
I just read it in a book.
I know, not from this class.
Oh, okay.
Not at all. Yeah, be careful. Not in this class, but somewhere else. Yeah, maybe. Of course, you have to explain. It needs to be explained here. So, how do we get this conclusion? Say that yes, really, the creator of this universe must be absolute. How do you get to this conclusion? Whether you call it light, you call it superpower, whatever you call it. But how do you get to this conclusion that the source of existence of this universe must be absolute? How? Whatever you call it doesn't matter. Well, you can say matter itself. Whatever. Some people say, matter itself is the creator of itself. Then some people is very weird in their logic. Something is the source of existence of itself. How it is, how we see it. Simple, man, childish language. So, to me, childish, I mean, the thing gives existence to itself. What? It should exist prior to its giving existence to itself. So, if it exists, why it needs to give existence to itself? It already exists. Yeah, right. So logically, it is absolutely inconsistent. Yeah. So to me, think about it, and you can just ignore this illogical claim. So it must be within the universe. We don't see anything like that. Whatever the name you use it, the matter, light, superpower. So beyond imagination. Why? Because our mind is so narrow. If you have a huge mind, what are you going to do? To comprehend the absolute? Huge mind. To comprehend the absolute? If absolute is in a way, by definition, comprehensible, it is not absolute. Did you say it? Who said it? It's not.
Somebody said it, yes.
So did you say it? Did you say it? Yeah, why did you say somebody? Don't ignore yourself. So be brave. So I said it. Oh, how do you know that I would say wrong? No, brave, So okay, tell me why is it wrong? So challenging. I mean, we are in a society when it comes to religion, we cannot speak and oppose. Yeah. But when it comes to worldly benefit, we are like a chatterbox. Defend our rights. Go to the street. Shout there, freedom for Muslims. But for religion, I don't know. That's what I heard. Yeah? Is it your conclusion? I haven't thought about it. So anyway, let's come back to our channel of thinking now. How do we reach the concept of absolute which doesn't exist within the universe? I hope now nobody says that. No, God says in the Quran that I am absolute. I don't know. God doesn't say in the Quran I am absolute. He says I am powerful of everything, powerful over everything. I am ahad. Literally, ahad doesn't mean absolute, but context of within the context of the Quranic teaching of God is unique and cannot really associate it with anything else. You cannot really liken to anything else. That there is no such a thing within the universe. He is the creator of the whole universe and everything in it. That's why the Quran says, I think you should, you all know that very, very fundamental teaching of the Quran is, I don't like sounding as if I know Quran, I know some Arabic, so I can pronounce it in the best way. But وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا يُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِهِ, which means there is nothing in the world but glorifies, announces the creator of the whole universe with praising it. Look, you must have these kind of qualities that I am experiencing in the world. All these qualities come from you. Nothing can be the source of its own quality. Think about it. Can you be the source of your own brain, your way of thinking? So that is that's why I recited the Quran. It is not my usual habit to recite the Quranic verses. I just come up with what I gathered from them, what my conclusion is. So if someone cites a Quranic verse, don't bother. Your idea, what did you get from it? Tell me, what did you get from this thing that you want to quote? No, but this is an exceptional case because I want to tell you that is Quranic statement in order to understand why do we need to understand the Quranic statement? Simply because if we want to understand one word which is used in the Quran or phrase which is used in the Quran, we have to interpret it within the context of the whole Quran. And we have to know the fundamental teachings of the Quran so that we will see whether my understanding of this word within the Quran fits into the main fundamental objectives, purposes, teachings of the Quran. So if you are reading a law book, for example, so you cannot take a word from the law book and explain it to me within the context of biology. Does it make sense? It's a law book. So other way around, vice versa, is also correct. You know, take a word from there. So the Quranic words or the vocabulary must be understood. I'm going to say something we have to be all careful about. Within the context of the teaching of the Quran, not within the definition of the dictionary. The dictionary's context is nothing to do with the Quran. Dictionary's content is something of this word. I'm using the vocabulary for this one. This is a table, yeah. I don't know. This is a keyboard. It is valid within this word. Not this language cannot be attributed to the absolute being's teaching. Absolute being's teaching must be understood within the context of the whole the teaching of the Quran, right? So if you are satisfied about it, we have to come back to this word. For example, every single thing glorifies God. It means declares the qualities, absolute qualities of the Creator. So if the Quran, in other words, says God is ahad, I have to interpret the word ahad according to this definition of the Quran. Do you get it? So in order to understand the Quran, You may use the dictionary to start with, but never come to a conclusion, but develop it, primary level of education. So develop it, go. You will understand that, this word din is not, doesn't mean what I see in the dictionary. Yeah? What does it mean? What religion says? What religion, the entry religion, the article religion in the dictionary says this and this and no. Maybe, may not be, but in absolute terms, I have to understand it. Now, come to the point. How do we reach the absolute within the context of this universe, although by definition, everything is limited in this universe? How are we going to reach it? Yeah.
Following up to what you said about how if it's comprehensible, then it's not absolute.
Which one?
If it's not comprehensible,
yeah.
It's not absolute.
I understood now. My language, the problem is language. Don't worry about your idea. So if I ask you to repeat, it means I didn't understand the language. So partially, I don't hear properly. So, okay.
So the creation, like us, we're not absolute. So the creator has to be absolute because it's unlike the created.
So now, be careful with your language. Now, we have to really fine-tune the language to our understanding. Because the word absolute is used for God, so I cannot say that this cannot be absolute anything within the universe. Look, starting from the absoluteness of the creator. This cannot be because it is a part of the universe. It cannot be absolute. No, but we are trying to understand how did we reach the conclusion that the creator must be absolute. So we say that the X must be infinite. So if I say if X is infinite, Y is not infinite. But you have to prove and be convinced about the first equation that X equals to X, so X equal to absolute, so or infinite. So we are questioning this. How did you conclude that? How do we know that the creator must be absolute, but must be, not is absolute? Must be absolute. That's my conclusion. In order to bring something into existence, one should have definitely unlimited power to bring, or to capacity, not only power, everything, to bring something into existence which didn't exist before at all. Right? So, for example, if I say, look, tell me to bring the keyboard, or to give me a keyboard, okay? Look what I am doing, yeah?
Give me the keyword.
Here, look. Yeah? Taking the keyboard and transferring it. Look, it means I am not giving existence to a keyboard without being in need of anything. Yeah, it already exists here. But creation by definition, coming into existence by definition, it should have no previous existence. That's why some people phrase it, God creates ex nihilo. It means out of nothing. But if you are careful about it, it's okay. But normally, it's a philosophical language, it doesn't make sense to me, but it's a fine point, very fine point. So let's skip this one. Which does not exist before, out of nothing. Here it is, and well, I will it to be, for example, I will it. I will add, I'm willing, so I will. A keyboard exists, that's it, but it's there. Depending on my will. That is how the Quran describes, and also logic says, yeah, creation must take place in this way. So, for example, if I have given the already existing material and reshaping it, giving to another person, here is the keyboard, it means it existed before. I'm using it. And I'm, of course, while I'm using it, never forget, it's a fine point. I'm following the order of the already existing universe. Never forget this point. Every week we refer to it. I am following the order which already exists in the universe. Without following the order which exists in the universe, already exists in the universe, you cannot bring anything into existence. You just use it, transfer it. But even while you are transferring it, you use your already given capacity. Again, you are not giving existence to anything at all. Using. That's our reality. So, do we notice that we are bound to reach to the absoluteness of the Creator, bound to reach, because in this world, everything needs to be brought into existence. They cannot come into existence by itself. So there must be a source of existence which gives existence to everything at the same time, continuously, constantly. So therefore, something like this, as far as being able to give existence to anything, if someone is not able to give existence to anything at all, for some artists to say that I am the creator of this art, this work, something, they are using already existing material. Yeah. So anything. So it means as far as being or claiming to be the creator, everything is in the universe is what? Zero. Yeah? Nothing at all. No creatorship at all. Even a fraction of it. No. If it has a fraction of it, that's it. There is no need to believe in God. This fraction can grow, develop. So zero. Existence of zero within this universe, which demonstrates that we are here. We are here. And look, we exist, but there is no source of existence within the universe. Therefore, there must be a source of existence of the universe, not within the universe, but anyways, there must be logical conclusion. The existence of zero within this universe definitely requires to think of one. It means something exists. And anything exists claims that I can be brought into existence by a one which has no limit, means infinite. It's very simple. But what is the matter with us that we don't think of God, the creator, that creator must be absolute, infinite, in every terms, including everything. So I cannot say that something else is the source of existence of a small thing. So something can represent this absolute being. You cannot represent absolute being because you cannot comprehend it. What is it? Does it look like a man? Does it look like a star? Does it look like or can I describe it within the conditions of this universe? Impossible. So it must be absolute. So we have to start from there. Nothing in this universe is able to give existence to anything. Anything. But we have qualities existing here. That's not the problem. So from zero, we should reach the necessary existence of one. And from one, mathematically, we should reach the necessary existence of infinite. Yeah, this one can only be represented in terms of number, although the infinite is not a number, but in terms of number, we cannot explain it. We cannot express it in terms of number. So it must be infinite for human logic. It must be infinite. So we go from 0 to 1, from 1 to infinite, right? 0, 1 is non-existent, existence. Yeah, to be, not to be. Yeah, sorry, not to be, to be. Do you understand? So who will remind me the phrase in the Quran which frequently refers to this process? Sorry, one by one. I will listen to you as well. That is the result of pre-existing, conceived absolute being that he, the absolute being, should create with kun fayakun, be and it is. But it requires absolute being. If you don't have the concept properly established in your mind, kun fayakun doesn't mean anything to me. But you have to have what is the source of kun fayakun. If it is absolute, absolutely, it must give existence to anything as a result of his will only. Kun fayakun represents what? Will. Do you get it? So this process of reasoning in the Quran, that 0 to 1, 1 to absolute. Which phrase? Sorry? You get it? If you don't start with La ilaha 0, you cannot get to 1. Do you get it? So because you say there is nothing, God, it means God means by definition, your expectation of definition is there is no source of existence here in the world. La ilaha. So, therefore, if everything's 0, but they exist, ability-wise 0. Ability in giving existence, ability in being in a shape or with qualities, etc. Everything 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. But as far as the existence of everything is concerned, don't forget, we are not 0. Some people confuse that. I mean, if you know it. Historically, some very serious people confuse that. We are 0 anyway. No. In which sense we are 0? To be the source of existence of any quality we have or the things have. The things are 0. But their existence is not 0. Their qualities are there. Look, I'm speaking. You are listening. You are thinking. Yeah? Your body exists. Your feelings exist. They are all there. We are not 0. We exist. But in order to be the source of any quality for my existence, I am 0. In which sense? To put it into simple language, in order to be creator of anything, I am 0. In order to be creator of anything, I am 0. My existence is not 0. It is out there. If you think your existence necessitates definitely that an absolute infinite being must be the source of this existence. Anything you say, I see, I smell, or I speak, I think, I imagine, whatever, the time is going fast. But I said the process of saying that religion, but of deen, religion should not be denied, must start, the process must start from investigating the nature of existence in the world. What is the source of existence of anything there? Anything, not necessarily, for example, source of existence of my body. No, source of existence of any quality within your body. Who can be the source of existence? Not we follow the process. We say the process is the source of existence. So the process already exists. It doesn't give existence to it. It follows the order. It follows the order. Do you get it? So it is not the source of existence. It is just following the order of something which willed it to be in this way. Not itself, but something cannot be found in the universe. This very simple, very fundamental teaching of the Quran. We have to think. It is not difficult. I believe the fundamental matters related to belief in the Quran is not complicated at all. But it looks so complicated. Why? Because of the cultural assumption. We call it baggage. We put everything into the baggage. Or, sorry, take everything, it was the wrong way. Put, previously, but usually while we are thinking, we take everything out of our already cultural baggage. And it puts us into trouble. We cannot continue reasoning and reaching the satisfaction, but imitation. Do you get it? But imitation, that's our conclusion. But this is the culture. So what do we have to do? It's very simple. Cultural assumptions should be aside. Be careful, I didn't say denied. Because cultural assumptions as a result, as a conclusion is correct. The professor asks you a question, mathematical question to solve it. And the clever professors, what do? They give the answer already to you. No. Oh, guys, be careful. When you are solving the question, if you don't reach the result, x equals to, let's say, 30, then you made a mistake. So work on it. Let me see who understood the solution. So clever professor doesn't leave the student in vacuum, in just pendulum. But I don't know whether it's right or I reached this conclusion, whether it's right or wrong. No. If it is not 30 in the example, so you made a mistake. So we have to take the conclusions from maybe culture, but culture says God is one. Is it wrong? Culture says pray. Is it wrong? Culture said fast. Is it wrong? The culture says, oh, it is excellent to go on Hajj. Yeah? But it is the conclusion. How did you come to this conclusion? You say, the professor says the answer is 30, you do everything something, and then said, therefore, x is equal to 30. It's not solution, but imitating it. Professor takes it. What grade do you get from the professor to this paper? You didn't solve it. Just write something, and x equals 30, big size. What grade do you get? Huh? Sorry? Why are you timid? I don't understand. Just, if you present this paper, what are you expecting from the professor to give you a grade? Which kind of grade? Come on, be brave. Everybody should say it. Zero. So the student said, excuse me, professor, my conclusion was right. 30. Now, I have already told you this. How did you come to this conclusion? So Iman, belief, needs that convincing, satisfactory process of coming to this end. So don't deny that equals 30. Say, okay, that's there. Let me find a way to come to this conclusion. Do you understand? That's how we should reach the result. So that this verse tells me, do not deny that. It means if somebody doesn't come to this conclusion, they replace it with something else. We have to be very careful. The people may not say religion is wrong. Oh, if you're satisfied with it, go ahead. And everybody has an not rhetoric or not rhetoric, and story, or they don't say story. They say that's my
Perspective.
That's my tradition, but not tradition really. That's my the word doesn't come to me. Sorry. Story. There's another kind. This word. Sorry.
Narrative.
No. Promises. No. There is my narrative. That is, I'm a Muslim. This is Muslim narrative. Huh? Okay. It's not wrong. It is right. But it says X is equal to 30. It is equal to 30. That's correct. But we have to investigate. Don't blame anyone. Don't blame anyone else. So that, did you investigate to say that X is equal to 30? Don't. That's none of your business. Everybody is another responsible for himself or herself. Don't pass judgment to anyone at all for yourself. Did I solve the problem and reach the conclusion by myself? Although I found it in the culture, yeah, but I have to reach the conclusion by myself. If we don't do that, what happens? If we just imitate what was the word? Narrative, our cultural narrative, traditional narrative. Be careful, the prophetic teachings and the Quran always hints the subject, this point. Then in the middle, with the question and already accepted or given result, in the middle, any mistake can easily slip in. You don't know the process because you say, no, it is not within the process. So that is called in the Quran, any mistake slips in between the question and the already accepted answer. Already accepted answer is correct, but you cannot avoid somebody shirk. What the Quran says, God expects the Quranic description. I'm not taking it for granted, but that is the news that we have to think about it. I forgive everything but one. What is that? Inna Allah yaghfiru dhunuba jami'a. Shirk. Illa shirk. Yeah. God doesn't forgive shirk, because if there is a flaw in the solution, if there is a flaw wrong in the process of solution, it may replace with anything which is not right. So what we do, we believe in one God. We believe mango is nourishing me. What? In the solution. So I'm in debt to somebody, or really I feel secure now. I got my job. Right? Do you get it? We have to be very careful not to develop our own idols. This is how we deny religion. How we deny religion. Otherwise, outwardly, Christians say, I believe in God who created the universe. Correct? Is it wrong? I don't think it's wrong. God, the creator. The Jews, for example, they are proud of this verse. They don't say God alone. They say God the creator according to Torah teaching. Yeah? Is it wrong? No, the conclusion is right. How did you get there? That is the question. If we don't question it and follow the right way of processing in order to reach the conclusion and confirm the conclusion, yes, professor said X is 30. Yeah, I got the same result. That is called belief. That is not denying religion. Otherwise, inevitably we find ourselves partially denying religion. Although we say, outwardly, language-wise, but doesn't matter. It is not our conclusion. We have to stop, and those people who like to pray, I don't think there is an event in the IC masjid. We can go and pray there, but I have to stop now. So we can continue now. It's very easy to following verses because, inshallah, I'm hoping that the foundation is solid and understood and makes sense. Then the conclusion, the following verses are easy to follow because this is the first premise. If the first premise is proven, the rest is easy. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة. Inshallah, see you for those who are able to come on Saturday in Wood Heaven. Most welcome. If not, next Wednesday. Inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum.